Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the Main Event Podcast. We're here today to discuss all of the happenings of WrestleMania Weekend
happenings
aren't to do with WrestleMania. Literally anything else.
Yes.
I'm Jez. That's Dan. Pleased
Me.
to have you here with us. I am the champ, the World Prediction Champion. And that will also be decided today. The scores will be tallied for the quarter that was Royal Rumble through WrestleMania. And will it be and new, or will it be and still? That is the question.
Hoping for and new.
I know you are, but I am obviously not. How the devil are you anyway?
I'm all right. Bit knackered, bit of a tiring day, but not bad. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good. I've foregone the sponsored drink today. I'm on the red wine.
There you go.
So
it's a good job one of us is still on the sponsored drink.
Yeah, I mean, I've still got the can here from last week because that's how lazy I am. I haven't got rid of that yet. But yeah, I've just decided to treat myself and have a bit of wine this evening.
A bit of red wine.
Yeah. But if you would like to partake in some goat energy, and why wouldn't you? It is fantastic, especially that cherry flavour that Dan is drinking right now. You can do so at goatdrinks.co.uk and by using the code JEZ10 down underneath in the corner. It even works on our vertical canvas that most people can't see, but I'm recording for TikToks and Instagrams and things. It's still in the right place for where you're pointing. Beautiful.
There we go.
Jez10 will get you 10% off your entire order as well as free shipping. In addition to the cherry, we have original mango and the new mango and also the caffeine-free watermelon, which is one of their new flavours. Go and check them out. Right. So this show is going to be a bit all over the place because we're discussing so many different promotions and so many different things. So just bear with us and we'll kind of flounce about between all the different stuff.
Flounce.
It's a good word, flounce. Do you like the word flounce? It's a good adjective. So coming into this show, which took place before WrestleMania, really, because WrestleMania was the last one, but the score after we tallied WrestleMania and then the three events that still count to this quarter, the score is Jez, me, this guy, 66. Dan, that guy, current non-champion, 68.5. He's got a half point. And I think that half point is going to screw me. I think that's going to be the difference. I think you're going to win by half a point. And I don't know how to feel about that. I'm glad it's not a tie. I hate ties, but is 0.5 as bad as a tie?
Half point.
Yeah, I could have given you nothing. That's what I should have done. Should be like, nope, you predicted that wrong. The tag team titles were split. You were wrong. No points for you.
Yeah, but I still got one of them right, so.
Yeah, but one of them when you predicted both, so that didn't work. So you predicted a completely different championship that didn't exist.
Well, it's too late now.
Yeah. Well, it's not. I can always take that half point away. We'll see how I feel at the end and whether that half point is the difference.
Everyone will riot.
I think you overestimate how many people care whether
I know where you live.
You do? I know where you live. I'm not sure what that's got to do with anything.
I'm going to drive down to where you live.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Anyway, let's kick off with NXT Stand and Deliver. Now, we're not going to talk about all of the events and everything that happened in them. We're just going to pick out the key things. I think the first thing that merits discussion from NXT Stand and Deliver, which took place on WrestleMania Saturday in the afternoon, a very sociable hour, I might say, for us in the UK. First thing, Roxanne Perez won the NXT Women's title, ergo completing her story, finishing the story of the title that she never lost because they did a weird, stupid storyline that was unnecessary. She finished a story. Was it a good story? No, but she finished it. And then she also appeared on the Raw after WrestleMania as well. Thoughts on Roxanne Perez winning the championship, the whole redemption arc that she's been on, and do you think that she is going to potentially be drafted to one of the main roster shows in the draft?
I think there is a potential that she is going to get drafted because she is a good talent. She is a good talent. Do I really care that she won the women's title? Not really.
I don't really have much love for Lyra Valkyria either. I feel like that whole women's division is kind of it's fine. There's nothing bad about it, but it is just okay. Yeah,
she's fine.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. We're not, in the heady days of Asuka being champion, or even the days of Mandy Rose being champion. They were pretty cool as well. Like literally, that was the only redeeming feature of NXT 2.0.
Speaking of that, what's happening with Gigi Dolan?
Nothing, apparently.
He's kind of just there.
Yeah, except she isn't really. Like, I haven't seen her on NXT in weeks, other than the odd backstage segment where she goes, you're a bad person or something. Yeah. And then nothing happens. It is bizarre.
She needs to do more.
I think she needs to do more. Why isn't she in the championship picture? She's probably one of the longest standing people on that roster now. She's been there easily 3 years.
Yeah.
Easily. Because even before, Toxic Attraction was a thing, she was about.
Yeah.
So, who knows? But, Roxanne Perez, fine. I do like her more as a heel than I have as a babyface. I think, women who are that small can't really be baby faces for too long. They need to unleash that kind of like yappy Jack Russell kind of attitude that lots of tiny people have. Insulting mass swathes of people now by calling them tiny people. But she's quite small, is Roxanne Perez. I don't even think she tips 5 foot. So that is small. Shouldn't have lost the title in the way that she did in the first place. So good that she's got it back, I guess. Yeah. Moving on then. Ilya Dragunov retaining the NXT Championship against Tony D'Angelo. He also appeared on the Raw after WrestleMania, and rather than asking you whether you feel like he is going to be in the draft, apparently he is a lock for the draft. So there you go.
So he's
I mean, do you think that he should have dropped the title to Tony D'Angelo at Stand and Deliver?
I think he should. I think he should have.
I don't know what else you do with Tony D'Angelo if he's not actually going to be NXT champion. Does he get drafted?
Now they've kind of put him into a thing with Charlie Dempsey and whatever they're calling that faction they've got going.
Oh, did they? When did that happen?
On NXT.
What, this week?
Yeah.
I must have slept through that bit or something.
Yeah, they got rid of Drew Gulak.
I know that they've got rid of Gulak, because
and Tony D'Angelo basically came in ensuring that they paid Tony D and his family to get rid of him.
Oh, right.
And he wants a shot at the Heritage Cup.
I mean, that's one way of solving that problem, I guess. Drew Gulak accused in the media by Ronda Rousey of groping her or reaching for her pull string or something. I don't quite understand what it is that he's been accused of, but WWE have thrown the book at him. So that's the end of Drew Gulak. Happy trails. See you later.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I missed that entirely. I really must have dozed off or something. I had no idea that happened on NXT. So there you go. Dear. It's a step down.
Yeah.
I really think that Tony D'Angelo should have won the title, especially considering clearly plans were already in motion for Dragunov to go up to the main roster, where he should be. He really should be.
Yes.
It's post-due.
Yeah.
That said, it seems they're going to fix it with the topic of our next match, which we'll get into shortly. Trick Williams will face Dragunov for the championship at Spring Break-In next Tuesday. Week 1 of Spring Break-In, because obviously the draft is next Friday.
Yeah.
They're basically giving us the answers to the test here, aren't they?
Yeah.
As much as we're going to predict it, we're already being given the cheat sheet, and it's Trick Williams becomes NXT champion, Dragunov rides off into the sunset.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish they hadn't made it quite as predictable, and that Tony D'Angelo was the champ right now.
Yeah.
Oh well. To earn that shot for the NXT Championship, Trick Williams defeated Carmelo Hayes at Stand and Deliver. He also defeated Carmelo Hayes in a rematch in a steel cage this past Tuesday. I did see that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I noticed that. I saw that happen. I wasn't asleep for that. So, your thoughts on the whole end of the rivalry with Carmelo Hayes and the potential of Trick Williams being NXT champion?
I'm there for Trick Williams to be NXT champion. I think he's got so much momentum behind him at the moment. They need to do it.
I agree with you there. I think there's a lot of momentum between both of these guys, really, between Trick and Carmelo. Yeah. Does Carmelo get sent up to the main roster? I'm not sure there's anything left for him to do in NXT. No. He's kind of done it all. And I think separating those two out for a good few years before bringing them back together would be not together as a team, but together as adversaries would be really cool. I kind of wish that they would take Trick Williams and put him on the main roster already for one very selfish reason. Do you know what that is?
What?
To take him away from Booker T so we don't have to listen to Booker T doing that stupid nonsense with his entrance theme.
Yeah.
I hate it so. But, I hate pretty much everything Booker T does on commentary, so it's not really saying much. Yeah. It winds me up so much, Booker T on commentary. I don't know who's worse, Booker T on NXT or Nigel McGuinness on AEW Collision. It's close.
You got to decide.
And the answer will probably surprise you, or maybe it won't. Booker T is definitely the worst.
Yeah, no, I thought so.
At least McGuinness has a few decent heel quips and is witty and knows the moves, is very, very quick in that way. Whereas Booker T just goes, yeah, ooh, oh yeah, man. And it's like, please.
Booker T just basically sounds like an old man.
Yeah. He just says words and they're not relevant most of the time. And he puts himself over about 60 times a program. Like, I don't like that this whole Nigel McGuinness Bryan Danielson rivalry that's continued and calling him Clam Digger and all that stuff. It's just boring.
Yeah.
But yeah, Booker T is the worst. Yep. Definitely so. So Stand and Deliver predictions then. As I think I don't know whether we discussed it on air or off air last week. We differed only on one match.
Yeah.
And it was the pre-show match between Joe Gacy and Sean Spears. I correctly identified Gacy as the winner. Other than that, we did pretty well. I think we only got one other match wrong between us over the course. So the score from that one was Jez 5, Dan 4. Got a point back.
Well done.
Got a point back.
Need to get 1.5 more.
Well, still 2 more events to go. And in the event that my Google Docs has auto-corrected as ROH Supercars of Honor, let's also kick off with a women's championship, a new women's championship, the inaugural ROH Women's Television Championship. It's a very long and clunky title, but how do you feel about the introduction of a mid-card title to Ring of Honor for the women?
I think I might have preferred it. Well, they do already have that on AEW, don't they?
They've got the TBS title one for the mid-card, I
don't know if Ring of Honor needs it.
I came into Supercard of Honor thinking, what the hell, they don't need it.
Yeah.
Then I saw Athena retain the Ring of Honor Women's Championship.
Yeah.
And I had the sudden realization, she's not losing that for a very long time, which basically means there's no women's championship in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
That's just a trophy, a trinket for Athena to carry around.
Yeah.
And no one can beat her. So they need a championship that can actually be swapped around the women a little bit. So now I'm kind of more on board with it.
Yeah.
It's the name that bothers me. Ring of Honor Women's World Television Championship. It gets worse when you add the world bit in as well.
Yeah.
And television championships should not be world championships. That's not the point of them. It's a television championship. It's not a world championship. You just put in world in there because you think it makes it sound more prestigious. And it does,
more of a mouthful.
But it's just more of a mouthful and it's not accurate. Anyway, winner of that belt at Supercard of Honor was Billy Starks. Also within the Athena Minions in Training stable.
Is that its official term?
That's what the stable is called, yeah. MIT, Minions in Training.
MIT.
Thoughts on Billy Starks, and try not to get too good old JR about it.
No, I'm glad she's won it, actually, because I think she does deserve a title.
Yeah, she obviously came up short against her mentor Athena at whatever it was in December. Final Battle, was it?
Something.
But that was a really good match, and I think she deserves a championship. They're not going to give her one of the AEW ones, so this sounds good. But they need to throw her immediately into a decent feud with somebody for it. And try and separate her from the Minions for a little while. And retain on her own merits. Okay, by doing heelish things like she did in the match itself, like feigning an injury and then jumping Hikaru Shida, but definitely carving her own path outside of the stable. I think that would be good. That is one match in which we differed on this event. You went for Shida, I went for Billy Starks. No, that's the next one. Never mind, being a dum-dum. We both went for Billy Starks on that one.
Both went for Billy Starks.
Yeah. On the next, the Women's World Championship, Athena versus Hikaru Shida. You went for Hikaru Shida, I went for Athena, so I picked up a point there. But then we balanced back out again a little bit later. So, the forever champ, Athena. She is, I think, when she came into Collision on Saturday night, or Battle of the Belts rather, on Saturday night, she was 49-0 since joining.
Wow.
She hasn't lost. I'm sure she lost in AEW. Did she not? Maybe that's an ROH record. 49-0 in Ring of Honor, probably. I thought she lost. She had a women's championship match. She definitely lost. She lost to Jade Cargill for the TBS championship. So, she's not undefeated in the entire company, but she is undefeated in Ring of Honor, 49-0.
Ring of Honor.
Pretty impressive. Does she deserve all the plaudits? Should she be forever champ?
No.
I don't think so either. I like her, I really do, and I think that she got a bit of a raw deal in her time in WWE. Didn't quite catch fire in the same way that she did in NXT.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's particularly good for your brand to keep her as the women's champion forever. I mean, it won't be forever, but I can see it at least being another year.
Time.
We'll be talking about Supercard of Honor next year and she'll still be champion, or we'll have just lost it potentially. Yeah. It's a long time to not have a women's champion that you would believe is under threat, really.
Yeah.
I'm ambivalent about it. It's good for her. I'm not sure it's good for Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
But then it's Ring of Honor, so
it's Ring of Honor.
Who truly gives a damn when it all comes down to it?
No.
It's like the D show of AEW now.
Yeah.
And although I say that, I am pleased for the result of the next match that we're going to talk about, the main event. Against Eddie Kingston, Mark Briscoe won the Ring of Honor World Championship and did so on the anniversary of his brother winning the Ring of Honor Championship 11 years prior.
Well done.
So they obviously waited for that date, didn't they?
Yeah.
They obviously looked
Yeah.
at the calendar and was like, right,
Yeah.
he's not going to win it this year, i.e. last year. We're going to wait until next year and he can win it on that date.
Yeah.
Aren't they lucky that WrestleMania was announced to be that weekend? Imagine they'd announced it the week before or the week after or something. That would have really scuppered their plan. But I guess they could have just done it outside of WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, are you happy for Mark Briscoe? And do you think he is a worthy Ring of Honor World Champion?
Absolutely. Very happy for him. Go for it, mate.
Should have happened a year ago while he was still like fully mourning the loss of his brother.
Yeah.
He should have been defending the championship at Supercard of Honor 2024, having held it for a year. Because let's face it, that Eddie Kingston Ring of Honor Championship reign, as much as even we kind of asked for it, even not as Eddie Kingston fans, well, that was a total waste of everyone's time. Other than it being used as a Triple Crown Championship for the Continental Classic, nothing happened. And he wasn't even there for the most of it.
Yeah.
I think he only appeared on the premium live events for Ring of Honor. He wasn't on the weekly television.
Nope.
What a wasted championship reign and a waste of opportunity for the belt and for Eddie Kingston. I'm sure Kingston's not happy with it either.
No.
But there you go. Yeah. Happy for Mark Briscoe. Excited to see who he faces and all of the different feuds that he has. I would like to see him defend the hell out of this championship.
Oh, yeah.
In much the same way that like Claudio Castagnoli defended it all the time. I would like to see Briscoe defend it against as many people as possible and really like stack up some wins because, you know, in the absence of his brother, he absolutely deserves a very decent singles run in what is the twilight of his career, really.
Yeah.
So kudos. Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor scores on the doors for predictions. We ended up on a tie where I got that Athena point. You got one back. Can't even remember where. It doesn't matter.
No.
We finished the event on 7 apiece.
7.
And we move on to New Japan Pro Wrestling now, where we have one event to discuss in terms of predictions and then just other things that have happened since. Because they've had 2 events after Sakura Genesis, which was on the weekend of WrestleMania. But we start with Sakura Genesis. There was a lot of filler in this event. It wasn't really what I was expecting, and it certainly didn't match the luster of last year's Sakura Genesis, which was really good. 2 matches I picked out as the main things, and they're both championship title changes. First up, and neither of us predicted this, Bishamon recapture the IWGP Tag Team Championship, defeating Kenta and Chase Owens. I don't know how many times Bishamon have been world champions, but they are the 102nd IWGP Tag Team Champions. They were the 100th IWGP Tag Team... No, they weren't. They were the 99th IWGP Tag Team Champions. And some more before that.
Yeah.
Obviously, Hiroki Goto had just come off the New Japan Cup where he had a really decent singles run for himself.
Yeah.
Is this just a demotion on, going back to much of the same for Hiroki Goto to just go back into Bishamon and win the titles?
It is a little bit.
I think it is beneath him now.
Yeah.
I really wish they'd kind of pushed forward on this Hiroki Goto singles run.
Yeah.
Even if he wasn't going to be competing for championships, having some decent feuds. Hell, make him never openweight champion, IWGP Global Champion. I think he needs to be carving his own path in the singles kind of realm. Chaos still doesn't have a leader. We did talk about whether Goto would have stepped into that place as leader had he won the New Japan Cup, but now we're just going back to not bothering with a leader, I guess. Disappointing. But I do think that Kenta and Chase Owens were only ever going to be transitional. And they just wanted to put the accolade next to their name and move on, basically. There's so many good tag teams in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I'd love to see some of the others carrying it now. Like the titles don't do anything for Bishamon, and Bishamon don't do anything for the titles, as good as they are.
Yep.
Next, Shingo Takagi recapturing the Never Openweight Championship, defeating Evil.
Evil.
I'm pleased/displeased to report after New Japan in Taiwan that the belt is no longer black. It has been restored to its former color scheme. We both liked it. Spray painted black, red and white. Yeah. We both liked it black.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think a jet black championship is something that wrestling needs.
Yeah, especially when you're called Evil.
Yeah. And like, what's one of his moves called? Darkness Falls. It's like, darkness falls on the belt.
Darkness falls.
Yeah, darkness falls everywhere on the belt, on the whatever it is, the weight bar that Ren Narita hits you with when you're not looking. On Sho's dead tooth that's just hanging out there in his mouth. Darkness falls everywhere. Shingo Takagi once again becoming Never Openweight Champion. How do you feel about that?
Fine.
Yeah. It is a bit, do we care? And again, I love Shingo Takagi. Love Evil, love Shingo Takagi. But we're kind of just putting the titles back on people that already had them recently. Yeah. And we're waiting for something fresh. Yeah. I know that, New Japan is very seasonal, and really we kind of mark our calendars on the big events, and that not much happens in between the big kind of tournaments and things. Yeah. But come on, man. Let's put some spice into it. I did think that Tanahashi becoming president was going to put some spark into it, but it seems to have had the opposite effects. It's starting to put me a little bit to sleep. And, if you think back to how enthused and excited I was about New Japan Pro Wrestling during the G1 Climax last year to now, I'm like, right.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully the Super Juniors will, reignite that spark in me. But right now I'm like, right, okay, we are wheel spinning.
Yeah.
And we don't like wheel spinning.
Yeah.
Scores on the doors from Sakura Genesis. Fairly even. Yeah. Exactly even, in fact. We each had 8. Mm-hmm. And I suppose that means that you want to get to the final score for this quarter now, do you? All right, let me get the belt down. Hang on. Got to twat the mic with it one last time. Oh, no, I got away with it. There we go. Right. So... The scores on the doors. I mean, you've probably done the maths yourself. I needed 2.5 to catch up from those, and I didn't get it. So I will finish this quarter with a score of 86. Just a respectable number, and that's the end of my sentence. Thank you very much.
Finish it.
All right, Ryback. You finish this quarter on an irritating score. Come on, click your thing. Of 87.5. So you won by 1.5 points. Do you want me to do the announcement?
Yes.
All right then. Here is your winner and new main event podcast world prediction champion, Dan.
Acknowledge me.
I will not, but
you will.
I kind of jinxed myself, if we're honest.
Yeah,
do you know how I jinxed myself?
How?
I kept the box that you sent the championship in.
Unlucky.
Like in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, I'll keep that in case I need to send in the belt back. I should have just got rid of it and found another box. But
unlucky.
It's still right there next to the desk.
Unlucky.
Bubble wrap and newspaper and, padding and all. So, yeah.
Unlucky.
So it's going to go in there. But, it's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. and it's been beautiful.
Oh yes.
I'll make sure I take some naked photos with it before I send it back to you. But as of right now, the belt's gone bye-bye. It's not mine anymore.
Yeah, baby.
It's a new quarter, though, and we're running now through to SummerSlam, which will be here before we know it, really. And it's already started. We predicted Windy City Riot last weekend. We're going to briefly talk about some of that. And then we've got a load of events coming up in the next 7 days that will be predicted. So really going to hit the ground running there. Right, so while we're talking about New Japan and before we wrap up...
Do you want to get rid of the numbers first?
Oh, yeah, they're in the way, aren't they?
There we go.
Just like to remind myself of my disappointment, apparently. Yeah. Right, yes. While we're talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling, let's roll into the other events that they have had since WrestleMania weekend. Windy City Riot in Chicago, Illinois, took place last Friday night?
Something like that.
Yeah. Again, not going to talk about the entire thing, but there were several key things that happened there.
Yeah.
Big moves that they saved for outside of Japan instead of having them at Sakura Genesis, apparently.
Yeah.
Bizarre. First of which, Matt Riddle loses the NJPW World TV title to Zack Sabre Jr. after really taking that belt around America, defending it against everyone, defending it against pretty much every other member of TMDK that, leaves Japan, and then just drops it to Zack Sabre Jr., walks out, and as far as I can tell, peace out, New Japan. Done.
Yeah.
It's a bit strange.
Yeah, a bit strange. So is this Zack Sabre Jr.'s first ever two-time TV champ?
He is the first two-time TV champion, yes, because there have only been four champions in the lineage, and he's two of them. I think he's held the junior heavyweight championship multiple times. So it's not his first two-time, but it is the belt's first two-time. Yeah. What did you think of this match that they had?
It's all right.
Yeah, I think that those two really match up well in terms of styles. Obviously, they've both got that kind of shoot MMA kind of style. And if this is the last time that we see these two face off, I think that'll be a real shame.
Yeah.
I really do. So I don't know whether Riddle was on a short-term deal and that's done with, and they just wanted to put his name next to the belt or something, but it's all a bit anticlimactic and bizarre, frankly.
Yeah.
What's next for Riddle? Who knows? If it isn't New Japan Pro Wrestling, maybe it's TNA.
Maybe.
If they want to get their wallet out for him. Doesn't sound like TNA.
AEW.
They don't even know where their wallet is. Could be AEW, I suppose, but I think they might be done with, bringing in problematic ex-WWE guys. To be honest, I think that's kind of beneath them now. It is a good segue, because before we talk about another match that took place at Windy City Riot, days before that on AEW Dynamite, the Young Bucks, in their infinite wisdom, decided to air the CM Punk footage, the security footage from backstage at All in London last year, in which CM Punk punched Jack Perry in the face and locked him in a front headlock.
Yeah.
I've been very much on record on social media that this was a mistake. What do you think about this whole airing the footage?
Stupid.
I don't really understand what the point of it was.
No.
If CM Punk in the media over WrestleMania weekend, in telling his side of the story, had said, Jack Perry started it, he shoved me, and so I was only defending myself, then fine, prove him wrong.
Yeah.
But when you show this footage and CM Punk says all along, no, it was my fault, I started it, I take full responsibility. Although, Jack Perry is a little scrotum and he deserved it, fair point. I'm not sure what you're proving.
No.
And I really felt sorry for FTR in that whole situation, because the Young Bucks did their cringe ass promo backstage where they showed the footage, and when they went kind of see CM Punk is a bad man, see, and then they cut to FTR in the ring and they're like, oh, we've got to follow that, have we? Right. Yeah, and they did their very best and they almost pulled it off, but it was still cringe, and the whole thing is just cringe, and I don't understand what the purpose was.
CM Punk's not in your company anymore, so why should you care?
Yeah.
Jack Perry's pretty much not in your company anymore. He's just off to New Japan.
He will be back, but you weren't using this to promote Jack Perry or even make him more of a heel. Anything that happened would only benefit New Japan in this situation. So that was weird. Yeah.
What the hell is the point?
And it did not have the effect that you wanted it to, because all the way through the footage, although we had silent on television, in the arena, there were CM Punk chants and people, encouraging past CM Punk to make Jack Perry tap. Like, that didn't work, did it? And then later in the night, you had CM Punk chants as well. So was it your intention to have the crowd chant for a person who doesn't work for you and is already, making headway at being like one of the biggest draws in the other company?
Yeah.
What were you trying to accomplish? What was the point? And the answer is nobody knows. So
nobody knows.
It's all a bit strange. You should have spent that 5 minutes putting over somebody that actually works for you.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing that was funny about it. Did you see Hook in it?
I don't think I did.
He stood to the... If you're looking at when you're watching it, he's just to the left. And he stood there with his FTW championship. Based off point, he just puts it down and just stands there. And just does this. That's all he does.
He might as well have got some popcorn out by the sounds of it. He obviously, Hook was there because he had just faced Jack Perry, hadn't he?
Yeah.
Like, it happened after they came back through, and while CM Punk was supposed to be heading out for his match. But
yeah, he was.
Yeah. Silly move to show it. I would have, if you wanted to show the footage, and still I don't know why you would, I would have saved it for when Jack Perry is back in AEW, and I would have had a babyface show the footage as a way of embarrassing Jack Perry.
Yeah.
That would have been the only point, really, is to get more heel heat on Jack Perry.
Yeah.
But as you said, he's not even in your company at the moment. I mean, he still is under contract to AEW, but he's not wrestling for AEW, so you're only generating heat for him somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that somewhere else was Chicago, Illinois, where he faced Shota Umino. And to be fair, really leaned into the heelness. And I dug it. I really liked Jack Perry as a heel in Chicago.
Yeah, he really went for
that night. I thought that was really good. Great match with Shota Umino as well. And it also seems that business is done. The way that he acted at the end of the match, and shook his hand and held up Umino's arm. Seems that he's done. We may see him back in AEW soon. Do you have any thoughts about the whole Umino rivalry and Jack Perry as a heel?
It's been quite good. I prefer Jack Perry as a heel, I think, rather than this stupid Jungle Boy gimmick thing.
I liked it when he was one man and his dinosaur, but
that was kind of fun.
But then they broke that, so that wasn't fun anymore.
And Luchasaurus is now called Killswitch.
I mean, we're not talking about AEW, but the fact that that whole patriarchy stable has kind of been absent since whatever the last pay-per-view was, when
Revolution.
Yeah. Apart from when Christian dropped the title to Adam Copeland, they haven't really been about, and that's a waste.
No.
But more on that next week when they're not on AEW Dynasty, and we're talking about that.
Yeah.
finally, and this is kind of the biggest news of the entire show, really.
Yeah.
Jon Moxley, in a move that absolutely nobody expected,
out of nowhere,
won the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, defeating Tetsuya Naito in the main event of Windy City Riot. What?
What the hell?
Yeah. I mean, we both predicted Naito.
Yeah.
Anybody that predicted this event predicted Naito. This was out of nowhere. And that's not to say that Jon Moxley doesn't deserve it. He does. And he's going to be a great IWGP champion. I think it's fantastic. But just Naito dropping it at a random event in Chicago to a part-time New Japan guy, just unfathomable. I just don't. I can't really believe it, even though I've seen it. And Mox was on Dynamite last night with the belt. It's all a bit unbelievable.
I'm just flabbergasted.
And apparently, he being Jon Moxley is being given the time to go and tour with New Japan. So he won't be a part-time champion. He will be there as much as the champions usually are for New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is great. Yeah. He's not going to be at Road to Wrestling Dontaku on Monday when my friend and Don't Get Me Started co-host Alex is going. Unlucky Alex, but he's not booked to appear anyway. He could do a random appearance, but I kind of expect him to be at Dynasty in some capacity, so that would be a bit of a killer flight, really, to finish at 4 a.m. our time and then need to be in Japan for like 10 a.m. their time. I don't even think you could logistically make that work, actually. So
no, you couldn't.
Pretty much won't be there. But Mox, thoughts?
Just shock and awe. Just shock.
I mean,
that's it, really.
You come into an event and you want to shock people and you want people to get their money's worth. This was a pay-per-view event. It wasn't even on Fight. It was New Japan World's pay-per-view. So, all the money was going to New Japan. Great.
Yeah.
That's certainly going to persuade people to spend their money on the next pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
Like Resurgence or whatever the next one is in America. People were going to spend money on that because they know that anything could happen.
Yeah.
It's not just spinning the heels, oh, isn't it nice the Americans get to see New Japan? No, this is just a New Japan show and things are going to happen. Yeah. Yeah. So kudos. As I said, we predicted Windy City Riot, but we'll get into that next week with all of the other stuff. I don't want to start a new quarter now, really. Let's talk about that next week. And then just a quick discussion about New Japan Pro Wrestling's show in Taiwan from this past weekend. How do you feel about them breaking into Taiwan?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think, why not do it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's a huge amount of distance or travel for them. So
no.
If they can corner certain markets outside of Japan that aren't too far away, then it's awesome. The event was great, even though it was a bit strange having the ring basically on a stage in an auditorium. That was a bit weird, but it was only weird because it's not what we're used to, obviously. They made it work and it looked fine and certainly translated well onto television. It seems like New Japan really want to have that part of the world for themselves. Obviously Japan and the rest of Asia and also New Zealand. They're really keen on taking over New Zealand as well, and it's not like WWE are paying any attention to New Zealand.
No.
It's not like AEW are paying any attention to New Zealand, and they've actually got a Kiwi wrestling for them in Jay White. So, again, not too far to travel. It's the right part of the world.
Yeah.
Do Australia as well. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Become the biggest wrestling company on that side of the world. And WWE and AEW can fight over, the Western world.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. And then the only real kind of key event to take place on that weekend was the crowning of new never openweight 6-man tag team champions. Obviously, that was vacated when Kazuchika Okada left the company. New champions crowned: Hiroshi Tanahashi, Toru Yano, and young lion Boltin Oleg. Interesting kind of group of people to put together. Where's Tomohiro Ishii, and why didn't he get a chance to win his own belt back?
God knows.
Do you think he tuned into the show and like, right, let's see what President Tanahashi is doing today? What the hell? Toru Yano, really? Toru Yano, you've replaced me with Toru Yano, really? And then waits again. Oh, and a young lion as well. Like, unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to see Oleg get a chance to be a champion while he's still a young lion. And I kind of like that it puts a bit of a time limit on this reign as well, because he is that close from going off on excursion. Like, he is ready. So it really puts a clock on that, and they're going to have to drop it to someone else. It's strange to say that the least established and possibly worst team in that tournament won it. Like, you've got one person from Chaos, one unassociated, Hontai member, and a young lion. It took on a team from House of Torture, from TMDK, and from United Empire, and it's this mishmash random team with a young lion on it that won. Because Tanahashi's got to have it, right?
Because reasons.
Yeah. I'm very skeptical about Tanahashi's grip on New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
And it's not what I was
since
very
he's
excited
been
about it.
President, he's won the TV title, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And now he's won back the 6-man. So,
and is lined up to face Nick Nemeth for the IWGP Global Championship.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I think that's either at Wrestling Dontaku or on the whatever that other one is called, Satsumi no Kumi or something.
Well, we know who's going to win that then, don't we?
Unfortunately, I do think that Tanahashi is a lock for that as well.
Yeah.
Mate, can you stop putting yourself over and focus on creating a good show, please?
Yeah.
It'd be great. Like, we compared him to Triple H when he, took over as president of New Japan. Yeah. I didn't mean Triple H in 2003. Could we not?
Yeah.
But there you go. Lots happening in New Japan. Some good, some bad, some indifferent.
Yeah.
And as I said, they go into Wrestling Dontaku as of next week. Lots of prelim shows leading up to that the following week. We've also got TNA Sacrifice either this Friday or Saturday, AEW Dynasty next Sunday, and 2 weeks of NXT Spring Breakin'.
That one. Spring
Breakin' kicks
Breakin'
off next Tuesday.
Yes.
So lots to talk about next week.
Yes.
Any other burning desires to talk about anything random in the professional wrestling world before we get out of here?
New World Tag Team Championship designs.
I thought
WWE.
I thought you might like that. Yeah.
Yeah, very nice.
Do you like the belts?
I do.
What do you like about them?
I like the fact that they're kind of along the lines of what the World Heavyweight Championship looks like, that very 3D. I like the fact that they are actually not all gold. They're actually gold and nickel, which looks good. The only thing I don't really like is the banners being in red. That quite bright red. That's about it, really. Yeah.
I think having the banners in red really negates what they were trying to do in taking the Raw branding off it.
Yeah.
Like, those belts are going to be on Raw now because they're red, unless you're going to paint the red bits blue if they get moved around. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about them is that they are perfectly circle.
Big circle.
It just looks crap. Like, there are so many nice shapes out there. Circle, perfect circle, like, doesn't fully work for a championship belt. There is only one.
The Raw tag were perfectly circular.
Yeah, and they were crap. I was talking about it with my wife the other day. I think those tag team championship designs that we've moved away from are the longest serving championship design
Probably.
in a very long time. They've been around since like 2008, 2009.
Something like that.
They were brought in as the copper pennies, Roman kind of Colosseum looking things.
Yeah.
And then when they split them again, they turned into silver. So I'm with you. I'm glad to see them gold again, but
yeah,
the circle kind of bothers me at this stage. And bold prediction: are we seeing WWE Tag Team Championship belts this Friday on SmackDown?
I hope so.
Yeah, I think we are. I think we are. SmackDown from France, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's not this week, is it?
No, that's not this week.
No,
what
that's
why. About?
I don't know. I've no idea what I'm on about most of the time. That isn't this week.
About, man?
That's not for 2 weeks. No wonder I couldn't find it on the TNT Sports website. Whether we're getting SmackDown at sociable time.
What are you on about, man?
I've lost the plot. Maybe I've been drinking too much, but
you alcoholic.
I'm not going to change that because wine is good. And on that note, I think we'll get out of here. We'll see you next week for the plethora of wrestling that follows WrestleMania and WrestleMania Weekend. Until then, I have been the former World Prediction Champion, Jez.
Yes. And I've been the new Prediction Champion. I don't know where we're going. It doesn't work.
We could have planned this a bit better, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could have.
Yeah.
I'm the new Prediction Champion, Dan.
Who's been drinking? Me or you?
I don't know what you mean.
And this has been the Main Event Podcast. Bye-bye.
Bye.